Yes, sir.
It's a lot of mobile topics. I don't have a ton of in-depth knowledge. I won't be as super talkative during the mainline stuff.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. As always, whatever you have to say is fine. Here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show is entirely supported and funded by voluntary contributions from listeners like you. If you want to chip in and support your daily source of tech, visit patreon.com/acedetect.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, August 13th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Our intrepid Thursday co-host, Justin Robert Young, had an unfortunate incident with a pair of keys. So he will hopefully join us, if he can, before the end of the show. But thankfully, we got Michael Wolf, host of the Smart Home Show at technology.fm and creator of Smart Kitchen Con, with us today. Michael, it's extra good that you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a likely story on Justin. I'm not sure I'm buying it.
Really? No, you think there's something behind it, huh? Something more nefarious. Well, we could ask him. Hopefully he'll make it before the end of the show. But we're going to talk about smart kitchens, which I don't know if I've talked about it much on DTNS, but I've been doing a lot more kitchen work, a lot more cooking. And I have some ideas about what I would like to see and things that I don't want to see them try anymore. And Michael's been on top of this industry now. So I can't wait to talk about that with you, man.
Yeah, and are you going to share any recipes?
I might. If you're not lucky, I might share a recipe. Let's take a look at the headlines first, though. Big day for Samsung. CNET rounded up all the announcements they made in New York this morning. The Samsung Galaxy Note 5 has a 5.7-inch 2560 by 1440 display with a more responsive S Pen. The Galaxy S6 Edge Plus has lots of words in the title and a 5.7-inch screen, 3,000 milliamp hour battery, and a 4 gigabyte RAM, 4 gigabytes of RAM in there. That's what differentiates it from the Galaxy S6 Edge Not Plus. Both phones are coming to the US and Canada August 21st. There's also a few other things they announced. A keyboard cover case that slides the keyboard on the front, and then you could slide it off and just turn it into a regular case by sliding it on the back. The ability to live stream directly to YouTube is going to be added to the operating system. Side sync for OS X is coming. And the new Samsung Pay system, which has an advantage on other systems because it works anywhere a normal credit card is taken. It can work with magnetic stripe swipers. That's coming to Korea August 20th, the U.S. September 28th, with more countries to follow. They also tossed out a little teaser about a new watch called the Samsung Gear S2 to be revealed at the IFA conference in Berlin on September 3rd. So loads of stuff there, Michael, but I'll be honest, I don't know if any of this gets you excited at all, but the Samsung Pay thing, I think, is probably the most significant.
Well, that's interesting because my initial reaction to that is, do we need another payment system? You seem pretty bullish on it, and it's because of the ability to use it anywhere.
Yeah, if you remember, they acquired a company called LoopPay, which has a system that allows you to just hold the phone near the magnetic stripe reader and be able to emulate a magnetic card, which means it's going to be accepted everywhere. And except overseas, it'll be a little bit of an issue in places with chip and pin, but here in the United States, where we are still flying less secure, it can come in and really make a difference for people. The limiting factor on it, obviously, is the fact you have to have a Samsung phone.
Yeah, I think eliminating friction around having to require NFC or some of these other kind of radio technologies that not every one has working well is probably a good idea. So I think the magnetic strip thing probably is this biggest thing going for it, right?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. These phones are very much incremental improvements over the other phones. So the Samsung Pay thing is, to me, the most significant advance. Look who is jumping in under the wire. Justin Robert Young, are you all set up?
We're getting there.
Hey, look at that. Rapidly. All right. Well, meanwhile, PC World reports that Apple has updated Boot Camp to support the 64-bit version of Windows 10 on Macs running OS X Yosemite. Windows 10 and Boot Camp can use the USB-C port. That's kind of cool. An Apple keyboard, trackpad, or mouse. That's normal for Boot Camp. The Thunderbolt port and the SDXC reader and the SuperDrive. Yeah, not much else to say except, hey, folks who use Boot Camp, you can now officially be supported using Windows 10.
I've never had a need for it, but my son is taking a programming class for game programming on Windows, and we're an Apple house. So I'm actually thinking there might be a use case
to
program on Boot Camp in Apple.
That would make sense. I eventually switched to virtual machines because I didn't like having to reboot to switch back and forth between the operating systems. But when I first did boot camp with Windows, it was the best Windows machine I ever used.
Well, I think that's kind of been even the word with Windows 10, is that Windows 10 has been largely very praised, with some upgrade issues aside, but that still MacBook Pro is your best Windows option if you would like to have a Windows experience.
Xiaomi launched its mid-range Redmi Note 2 and Redmi Note 2 Prime handsets in Beijing, according to the Next Web. The 16GB dual-SIM Redmi Note 2 has a 2 GHz MediaTek Helio X10 octa-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. That one runs you about the equivalent of $125. The Redmi Note 2 Prime boosts that chip up to 2.2 gigahertz and 32 gigs of storage, and they'll sell for around the equivalent of $155. Both will be available online in China starting August 16th. When you put this next to the Samsung phones, which didn't have a price, but you know they're going to be more expensive, these are pretty compelling.
Yeah, I almost wonder with these, there's so much has been said about the rise of the phablet in the Chinese market. Was there a tablet boom, or did we just go from phone to phablet in a way that we never really, like in the West, we kind of had the rise of the iPad?
No, I think, Michael, you may know this. I'm not sure, but I feel like tablet sales were pretty strong in China.
Tom, I'm going to say I don't know this.
Yeah, okay. You're in the same boat as I am, which I know they've sold a lot of tablets in China, but I don't have any actual numbers on that. So it's an interesting question.
Reuters reports that the European Commission granted Google's request to extend the deadline for its response to antitrust charges. Google has now until August 31st. The Commission claims Google distorted the web search results to favor its shopping services. The company could face a possible €1 billion fine.
Well, I mean, they're playing nice enough to give them an extra 2 weeks, so it can't be all bad, right? But wow, has this dragged out? I believe that Google probably isn't guilty of antitrust in Europe, even with their 90% plus market share. But I almost feel at this point they would be in their best interest to just give up and admit something just to get it over with.
Well, there's only so much that they can do. When you are that big of an elephant in the bed, there's only so far that you can roll in any direction without falling on something, and that's the situation that Google has found themselves in Europe. Europe has proven to have a track record for punishing American companies who have tech dominance in their jurisdiction. So you almost just wonder whether or not there is a different way to do this wherein Google understands their role in a way that satisfies some of the regulators, and it isn't just, fine, regulation, because for the European market, it's not a favorable look for people to expand with new and exciting ventures out there.
Well, it's a different market to navigate. You have to expand with a different sensibility. And I think Google is learning that lesson right now. If we were a network broadcast, I would have never admitted that I didn't know China's tablet sales, and I would have waited for my producer, Jenny Josephson, to have whispered the number in my ear. But we're trying to be more transparent than that. However, Jenny did find the numbers at eMarketer. Nearly 80 million tablets will be sold in China this year, according to estimates from 451 Research. They expect a 26% increase in tablets over 2014 levels, and they even expect a 20% rise in 2016. So tablets are booming, Justin.
Tablets are hot.
I should have just said in an authoritative analyst voice that they were doing very well, and we put that
just
to
that kind of like, that is what they do too. Like, no, I think they're doing very well. The Washington Times reports that Russia's media regulator Roskomnadzor has lifted the ban on Reddit after briefly blocking the site because of a 2-year-old post on how to grow psychedelic mushrooms. The site was reinstated because it, quote, complied with the government's request to restrict local access.
I think for Reddit, great headline. Like, they are very excited that their name is in a headline and it's not in some sort of internal imbroglio or some gender politics think piece. No. They are now available in Russia. Great time to be Reddit. upvoted.
I've been looking to grow psychedelic mushrooms, so I'm actually excited about this. I didn't know about it before.
Yeah, make sure your VPN isn't pointed to Russia.
Ars Technica reports that HTC and Lenovo both announced layoffs today. HTC plans to cut 15% of the company's workforce, approximately 2,250 people, in order to reduce operating expenses by 35%. Lenovo plans to cut 3,200 people, about 5% of its global workforce. HTC says it wants to increase efficiency as it moves into new product lines. The cost of the Lenovo layoffs and restructuring are estimated at $650 million, but the company said the moves will achieve savings of more than $1.3 billion. Lenovo is trying to stay in front of a declining PC market while staving off competition in mobile.
I feel like this is a bit of an instructive lesson here. HTC didn't see it coming, and you can argue whether they should have or not, and now they're trying to cut costs while they pivot into some other markets. And we've talked about, maybe the Vive will be a big seller for them, maybe it won't. Whereas Lenovo is trying to do this in advance. They're saying, look, we've been winning the PC market, but that's not going to save us forever. We acquired Motorola, and that they're getting beat up, especially in the Asian market. So let's slim down now while we're still making money, while we're still profitable.
It seems smart, and also it's just you got to wonder where we're going right now. I mean, like the commoditization of the PC market for as long as my adult life has extended has just been the rule. Like things got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and more commoditized, and now it feels like we've just sort of hit a breaking point, kind of in the global market for it.
Now, Samsung's more exciting announcement, in my opinion, came at the Flash Memory Summit in California. The PM1633A NAND flash hard drive uses 256 gigabit NAND flash dies to create a 16 terabyte, 2.5-inch solid-state drive. That appears to be the world's biggest drive, magnetic or not. The trick is cramming 48 layers of 3 bits per cell 3D VNAND, the V stands for vertical, into a single die. Then you pack 480 to 500 of those together, and you get an actual capacity of 15.36 terabytes, still big. The usual, this is meant for enterprise, and we don't know how much it will cost, but it'll be thousands, applies. But solid-state drives, still more expensive than magnetic drives, but now passing magnetic drives in capacity.
Tom, I take issue with your use of the word exciting announcement.
Oh, it's personal, right? I don't expect anyone else. There's a few other digital hoarders like me out there.
Have you been going to the Flash Memory Summit for years now?
I wish they'd invite me to the Flash Memory Summit. I don't know why. Big hard drives are... I always want a larger hard drive.
You like big drives and you cannot lie.
The other brothers won't deny.
He did only say it was more exciting.
That's true. There's a qualifier.
It's a good point. Thank you for getting me off the hook there, Justin. Hey, a lot of these stories come from our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, and you should join in if you haven't already and help us vote on the stories we talk about every day. Gowlkick posted the Ars Technica story from Peter Bright detailing the little bits of information that Windows 10 still sends over the internet, even when you disable it from sending anything over the internet without your permission. They range from a rather innocent network connection status indicator that just pings a server to see if it's on IPv4 or IPv6. It doesn't send any data. Then there's the requests for data that bypass proxies, even if web searching and Cortana are disabled. Apparently, even when you just want to search for files on your desktop, Microsoft servers get pinged with a machine ID attached, even though they don't attach any search query data. It feels like these are little bits and pieces that developers didn't think anyone would notice and weren't a big deal, and it's absolutely the kind of thing that drives people nuts. If I need control over what gets sent out of my computer, and I need to be able to turn it on or off.
Well, I mean, that is baked into the DNA of what it is to enjoy Windows, is that element of control, especially in our new age of increased privacy awareness. You need to have absolute knob control on making sure that when it is off, it is capital OFF. It seems, though, with these that they are little elements to maybe get feedback on the experience to continue to update?
Sure. If I turn that on, I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Don't be pinging your Bing servers when I turned off web search, though.
Don't ping your Bing unless I say something that sounds like please but rhymes with ing.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it either.
spsheridan posted an article by Harvard student Aaron Khanna, who had his internship at Facebook canceled because he wrote a browser extension that scraped Facebook. The Chrome extension was called Marauder's Map and used geolocation data from the Facebook Messenger app to map the locations of the users when the messages were sent. Facebook has since disabled location sharing for desktops. When Arana's future Facebook manager asked Khanna to disable the extension, he did, but posted on Medium that Facebook made him. Facebook then rescinded its summer internship offer.
This is surprising to me. It's like the difference between Facebook and Google is Google would have embraced this guy. It's like the old adage, keep your friends close but your enemies closer. Facebook cancels it. That's strange to me.
It feels like they didn't like his attitude.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true,
that.
but yeah, it's like the tone that he wrote the Medium post just didn't jive with the internship coordinator's idea of the way it should have been disclosed or something.
Because this is actually kind of counter to sort of the reputation that Facebook right now has in the Valley, that they are kind of the place for the hackers, that this is the safe space to tinker and do big, bold things in a way that maybe the suffocating bureaucracy of Google has kind of proven frustrating to some people.
But maybe you have to toe the company line. I mean, I've seen Google, pretty senior Google guys and even not so senior guys, rip on their company in blog posts. Say there's the famous blog post by one of the product managers who said the Nest Protect thermostat is an awful piece of crap, and he didn't get fired. I mean, could you imagine what Facebook would have done in that situation?
Oh yeah, he would have been unfriended for sure. Aaron Khanna did get another internship in Silicon Valley, so this didn't ruin his career. Also, Facebook hosts several hacking events that invite people from outside Facebook to show up. Like, I don't know, people with internships in Silicon Valley. So I'll be curious if Aaron Khanna ever shows up at one of those events and how it goes down. That's as gossipy as I get. All right, let's talk smart kitchens, man. Tech in the kitchen for most people to date, I would suppose, means a tablet, maybe an all-in-one desktop, some kind of touchscreen. It sounds, Michael, like most often it's been an iPad. And then we have the famous LG digital multimedia side-by-side fridge freezer with LCD display that I believe is at either CES or Comdex back in 2002 that sort of set the template of, oh, the smart kitchen means you put an internet connection and a screen on a fridge. Are we finally moving past those to something more helpful?
Well, I think you're right. The smart fridge has become kind of a cliche and almost kind of a laughing joke because there's been so many bad attempts. I think going back to 2000, I remember one where someone was trying to put Java on a refrigerator. But there's actually a lot of innovation going on in the kitchen. And one of the things I'm really excited about is just being able to try new ways of cooking. And also just having technology make you a better cook. We're seeing lots of different technologies. A good example is a sous vide cooker that I've been using. These are products that largely have been restaurant-based, chef-oriented types of ways of cooking, but with the advance in Internet of Things and lower-cost processors, I can now try things like sous vide cooking, which is really exciting.
It's interesting to hear that because I've read some articles with chefs where they're saying, I don't want a bunch of tech weighing things or telling me what temperature it should be. For instance, there's smart pans that'll tell you essentially, oh, the meat is at the right temperature, it should be cooked now. And they disdain that. They say, look, as a chef, I should be able to look at a piece of meat and know whether it's cooked or not because I'm trying to get it to a particular type of doneness. But that's an interesting contra example to that, which is there's a lot of high-end chef devices that do have processors in them, and the price may be coming down.
I mean, if you're an artisan, if you're a craftsman, you're going to defend, by and large, the old way of doing things. And I think we're going to continue to see that. That's not exciting. But look, for example, at Pico Brew, which is, and some of these other beer brewing appliances. I mean, if you look at the vast majority of us, we're not going to take the time. It's an art to learn how to brew beer at home. But if I can use technology to make really great beer at home, use it to make it probably a lot better than if I didn't use the technology, then I'm going to use those types of technologies.
So let me ask you this. Is there an advancement in the sphere beyond cooking. Like there was a lot of stuff that happens in your kitchen, from stocking it to organizing stuff. What have we seen beyond just ways to cook your food?
I think that the way I describe it to people is we're with regards to food, the kitchen, delivery, the kind of entire food ecosystem, we are where TV was about a decade ago. Remember how exciting it was when we just started to see these connected TV devices? We thought about, could we possibly get internet to the TV? It was really hard to do in 2004. Now it's really easy. And it shook up whatever you want to name, $50 billion ecosystem. Let me tell you, the food market, the food ecosystem, is a much bigger. It's probably a 10x market compared to TV. Everyone eats. If you just look at every part of the ecosystem, from delivery, you're seeing that being shaken up with folks like Blue Apron, Plated. If you look at the way to order replenishables, Amazon's trying things like the Amazon Dash. They're going to put intelligence into our devices that consume consumables and say, hey, you're out of this, let's just reorder it. Now, there might be some people who say that's scary. I don't want Amazon auto reordering stuff. But the fact that this stuff is happening and they're experimenting with it, I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah, because what I want as someone who is doing more cooking than I used to is, a cutting board that can weigh my ingredients seems nifty. I'm not sure if I would really use that because I don't know that I'm that geeky that I want to measure things out that exactly or whatever. What I want is something that says, we know what ingredients you have on hand. Here's what you could make recipe-wise with that. And here's what you could make recipe-wise with that if you had a few extra ingredients, and we'll add those to your shopping list. Or even better, you click here and we'll have those ordered and delivered to you. Doesn't seem like anybody's really connecting all those dots.
They're trying to. There's a couple exciting things. There's 3D, or there's robot assembly and robot cooking devices that people are just starting to put in. So you could say, I want to cook like this chef, or I want to cook like this chef. And these guys are talking to the food delivery folks like Blue Apron or Plated. Say you you had a food subscription, a certain level of ingredients, you had it delivered to your house, and you said, I want to cook like this type of flair, etc. They're starting to think about that. Another good example is a company called Teforia. They're making a next generation tea brewer. And tea's been made for 1,000 years pretty much the same way. But the Teforia is going to say, okay, it's nighttime. Do you want this tea with or without caffeine? By the way, do you want more antioxidants in this tea? We can do that. So just think about the fact you can start actually playing with the molecular level food at the molecular level. It gets really interesting.
Yeah, get in the Hitchhiker's Guide territory where it analyzes your brain and decides what you actually would like to have right then and makes it for you perfectly.
So go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think that people with technology now, we're doing things with food that we haven't been able to do before. I think, to your point earlier, Tom, there's going to be the purists who say, I don't want technology in the kitchen. And you don't have to have technology in the kitchen, but there's so many of us who want to do different things with food. We want better information about our health. And if you could tie all these things together, it becomes exciting. There's a lot of possibilities.
So a lot of these innovations are putting technology or connectivity or the internet into existing devices that we already kind of use, or at least there is an analog for. Do you think that we're going to see maybe even a kitchen-specific device or a tablet or something that is very much its own element of a new interconnected kitchen when all of these things sort of exist, maybe either as a hub or as just a complement?
Maybe. I think there is an argument to be made that sometimes technology can take things too far. It can make things more complicated. That's what we don't want, and that's the case with the smart home. That's the case with the kitchen. Tactile devices and tactile knobs are really great. So, but I do think there are people thinking about how we can maybe connect all these things together, almost like a kitchen operating system, if you will. I don't know if this can be purpose-built tablets, but I think you're going to see intelligence go into things like ovens. You guys probably saw the news about the June intelligent oven. That becomes really interesting as a connected device. Things like cameras going into the oven itself and doing image recognition that can automatically set your temperature and time. So I think what we're more likely to see is ingredient technologies going into existing devices, and not necessarily kind of whole new categories of devices like maybe a command center or touchscreen that's kitchen specific.
Yeah, one of the things that I read today pointed out that bringing the software bringing the burden of this to the software is probably a better approach than trying to just stick a lot of things into existing devices. You don't need Bluetooth added to your knife necessarily. And I feel like this is the same problem that the Internet of Things in general has, which is what is the platform that allows us to bring all of the stuff together in a way that's useful for us instead of, I think it's unfair to criticize companies for like, oh, they just throw processors and connectivity into everything and see what sticks. Well, that's how we figure out what works, right? Let's try a bunch of different things. But I know for sure, like I have a tablet, I have my recipes on it. I actually rewrite recipes in my own sort of flowchart in Simple Note. Right there, I want something that's not going to be getting all sticky because I, just chopped an onion and I got onion juice when I'm trying to use it. I would like that to be able to connect with my refrigerator or whatever to know what ingredients I have on hand ahead of time. So if I say I want to do those kinds of recipes, I have to buy this kind of ingredients at the store or order these to be delivered. And then potentially the oven that can tell me when the roast is done or the meatloaf has finally reached the right temperature can ping that same tablet. And that's useful to me. I don't have, something that alerts me like, hey, we're not telling you what to do, but meatloaf's at that temperature. You might want to check on it, see if it looks brown enough for you. All of that sounds good. It's just which of those things are actually useful and how do we tie them all together? How do we get one system where it's not all of these little pieces that don't talk to each other?
Well, I think the big white goods manufacturers like Samsung and LG probably are going to try and tie everything together. I think we're in the phase with the smart kitchen, much like we are with the smart home, that there's a lot of early attempts. Some of them are going to be clunky. But what also is exciting to me is, quite honestly, attempts at recreating core cooking technology. If you look at what Freescale is doing, they have an RF cooking division, and they've said microwave cooking technology is from the 1940s. Why do we use that still? You can use technology that we use in our cell towers and our cell phones in a cooking box. Cook a segment of the steak while keeping the other part of the steak at a different cooking level. You can cook vegetables at a different level, and it can tell you when the cooking is done. That type of stuff is actually really pretty interesting.
So you're saying we don't have to have the thing rotating all the time and the
No,
middle's still cold?
no. Now you might
now
get
you're talking my language.
You might get cancer a lot earlier, but your steak will be done at a better level. So
your steak will mutate to be bigger and juicier.
yeah, and I have 3 eyes, so yeah.
Right. Hopefully not. Well, excellent. We'll tell you a little bit more about a conference that Michael's involved with where you can find out more about this or follow Smart Kitchen Con on Twitter. Let's get to our pick of the day. Peter wrote us a lovely note about why he's still using DVD-RW. We actually mentioned this as part of the Lenovo laptop, that it has a DVD-RW, and Patrick Beja and I were like, who uses that? Well, Peter helped his 86-year-old father pick out a rechargeable electric shaver, and the manual's print was so small that he went to the web and printed out a PDF with large print so his dad could read it, and while he was there found 3 tutorial videos that he then burned to DVD. His dad has a DVD player, was able to watch the tutorials to kind of help him get a little more out of the razor. So that's our pick, too, the Philips PowerTouch shaver. Peter said, look, it's actually a really good shaver. What's that?
Again, it's model AT891 for all of you inquisitive shavers out there.
Yeah,
I will be abstaining.
It's rechargeable. It's waterproof. Will not operate while plugged in if it's got an unsafe condition. Works for both wet and dry shaving. You simply flip the shaving head up, run it under the tap to clean it, and that's why you have that safety feature in. So if you forget to unplug it, it doesn't cause a problem. He says, look, should be within the capabilities of my 86-year-old father who recently purchased this item. Shaving head dismantles for more thorough cleaning, etc. So there you go. Philips PowerTouch shaver, model AT891. I've never used it, but Peter says he really likes it. Send your picks, feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Got a couple of emails before we get out of here. Russell said on yesterday's show, we were discussing the usefulness of Twitter. He says, Twitter is probably the strongest social media platform for our business. Although LinkedIn is geared for this, it does not have the social and interactive components of Twitter. We use Twitter to engage with our clients and members of the related business community on both a firm level and the individual level. It has been the go-to tool for getting the word out about what is going on. At an individual level, we use it to personally connect at the local level with business colleagues. The actual value and results are hard to measure, but we know that it is part of the world in which we live and we need to be there, and a direct correlation may be hard to find. Michael, do you have a go-to answer if somebody asks you what Twitter is good for?
I tell people it's great to get real-time news and information from a group of respected peers. In fact, I've never said that sentence in my life, but that's what I would tell them, Tom, if they asked me on the podcast. But I mean, I use it for that. I mean, I follow people like you. I follow people in tech, and that's how I know before it's on CNN or whatever news site you follow. That's where it breaks for me. Was that a good answer? I don't know if that's a good answer.
I think that's one of the answers we mentioned yesterday was news. So I think that's a very legitimate portion of it.
I mean, I think the big question is Twitter is as useful as the internet is for you. Depending on your relationship with the internet, it is a great and ever-expanding way that you can kind of dive deeper into it. If you are a news hound, you can find breaking news. If you're into commentary and discussion, it is the natural successor to bulletin boards. You know, it's
a broadcast platform. It's just not exactly equivalent to any broadcast platform we've had in the past. No. It's not the telegram. It's not radio. It's not newspapers. But it is that place where you can see information quickly and in a stream.
I'm interested to see now that they've removed the 164 limit on direct messaging, how much more people use it for a replacement for email or just messaging. I find a lot of people just message me on Twitter. Now without that hard limit, I'm wondering how that's going to change. Maybe more people.
Oh, man. Golden age for DM fails upcoming. Oh, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be great.
Actually, it might help DM fails by saying, oh, you're over the 140 character limit, and then alerting you that you weren't actually typing a DM at that point.
Just make sure all the dirt that you're going to say is starting at character 141.
Wait a minute. So DMs over text message are one of the greatest sources of DM fail. DMs over text messages are still limited to 140 characters, but they will break it up into 140 character chunks.
Yeah. So when
I'm waiting for that first 10,000 word DM fail that just Twitter spams.
Yeah, just put your business plan in the DM and just hit it and see what happens.
Yesterday, Anthony Carboni suspected that the same person behind the website redirect of abc.wtf to Bing was the guy behind Scroogled, but Brian points out that the guy behind the Scroogled campaign was Mark Penn, who left Microsoft in June. Anthony also suspected the person probably popped his collar. Brian says that is unconfirmed. We're not sure if Mark Penn ever wore his collar popped. We'll keep
Mark
on
Penn,
top of this story.
Colorful political history.
And then Josh wrote in and said, today's Samsung Unpacked event featured a significant amount of stage time to women, and specifically women of color. This has been a huge turnaround for Samsung after the disastrous GS4 launch. They have constantly had a lot of women presenting their keynotes. He wonders, is too little being made of this by the tech press, who applaud Apple for bringing 2 women on stage for less than 5 minutes? Is it just because it's Samsung, or, you know, what is it? And I think it's probably a de facto part of the way that Apple is overcovered generally, and Samsung generally gets less coverage than Apple.
Oh man, cold comfort for the feminist commentary class that finally these Android iOS wars have found yet another front, and it's who can be more inclusive of the female executive.
But thanks to Josh for pointing that out, because I don't think Samsung probably gets enough credit for realizing how bad that GS4 announcement was, and taking strides to counteract that in future announcements.
And the problem with that announcement was how, like every other announcement, things were. You know, like that it is a general industry-wide problem, and it is one that it is nice to see women on stage and women getting credit for it, and hopefully those women are just as empowered behind the scenes for their work.
I think Samsung has learned not to do skits. That was the underlying fault of that GS4 announcement, I think.
That was the Broadway one, right?
Yeah.
Hachi machi.
And that is it for this episode of Daily Tech News Show. Big thanks, Michael Wolf, for joining us. As I mentioned, host of the Smart Home Show, technology.fm. And tell us about Smart Kitchen Con. That's coming up in November.
Yeah, Smart Kitchen Summit. You can find it at smartkitchensummit.com. I'm bringing together the who's who of everyone innovating and creating new technology in the kitchen. And I have a special gift for your listeners, Tom.
Really?
A discount code if they want to come.
Hey, if you're going to be in the Seattle area,
November 5th. Yeah, DTNS is a discount code, 10% off. And but more generally, if you're just interested in kitchen tech, where it's going, you could just go to smartkitchensummit.com, where we're talking about it there.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And it really is. He has got an impressive lineup. If you're interested in this segment of the industry, you're going to see some smart people talking about stuff.
Wait, one more thing. Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
So we're also having a startup pitch off for people creating smart kitchen technology. If you are a listener and you are creating that next cool device and you want feedback from Highway 1 or Lemnos Labs, two of the biggest hardware accelerators in Silicon Valley, the guys running those shows will be at my conference, and you can pitch them.
Excellent.
So you can find it at the website.
More.
Yeah.
So remember that code DTNS too. Hey, Justin Robert Young, glad you made it. And what are you up to these days?
Oh, Tom, you know me, on the campaign trail. That's because thecontender.us, a card game that I invented with John Teasdale and my friends at Guts and Glory, Megan Fawn, is now in the official second half. We have been buoyed by your support. We are over 300% funded. However, friends, this cannot stop here. No, we march on. We've got amazing backer achievements. If you've already backed, then there are other free things that you can do to help us out, including following our Twitter at Contender Game. You can make a poster. And here's, all right, here, Tom, listen. Here's the deal. You have you have a big listenership here.
Level with me,
Let
Justin.
y'all know that if you take a picture of you printing out our print and play, well, you have to do that. All you have to do is just with the print and play, go to a presidential library where we need 3 pictures of people playing the Contender in a presidential library. So I know, like, I mean, any TCU students or administrative faculty there. I think the George W. Bush Library is there.
UT Austin, right by the LBJ library.
Absolutely. Head on out there, play the game in a presidential library. We are going to unlock a bunch of fun stuff. So if you've already backed, more cards you can get, as well as now we've unlocked our 2016 expansion that you can upgrade to, which gives you all of the debates and stuff as they happen during the primaries. We're making
Listen,
cards.
The short version of this is, if you like to make fun of politicians, you need to check this game out.
Awesome.
Check it out. All right. I went too long. thecontender.us/Kickstarter. That's where you need to go.
Go do it. And thanks to our bosses, everybody who supports the show and makes it possible for us to do the show. We are indebted to you forever. And if you are not a boss, which is the majority of you, go thank a boss. You can just put it out there on Twitter or Facebook, like, hey, everybody who backs DTNS, thanks for making it possible for me to watch or listen. And if you want to become one, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. It's 512-593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, player.alphageekradio.com, and visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow with Darren Kitchen and Len Peralta. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Great show, you guys. What should we call it?
I have so many ideas.
That was fun.
Oh, good, man. I'm glad. That was a fun conversation. I hope we sparked some people thinking about smart kitchens.
Yeah, and Justin, I'm excited. You know, I don't know if Donald Trump is maybe going to make this more fun, but I love making fun of politicians. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's he has certainly engaged the nation in very, very, very early primary debates on a level never seen. For my money, so it has been very exciting considering we're profiting off it. So it's really great.
Someone has to, besides the politicians.
Contender game momentarily aside, although I really do want to get back to that presidential library thing because I have some thoughts about the Reagan Library, which is we have titles that Tom needs, which is I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't flambe like that. From TVZ Gun. Todd Whitehead has Skynet and the Scullery, which I love. TVZ Gun also One Range to Rule Them All.
That's good. That's good.
Pretty spectacular. And then I was a jerk and had submitted Knob Control to Major Tom.
Which got that song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And there was some other good ones. I like Big Drives and I Cannot Lie, of course, which is just so
That's
great.
just true.
That's just true. Don't ping your Bing unless I say bring that thing.
That's good.
It's really
Poetic.
great. Today was a good day. And then Reddit is upvoted by Russia.
Nice.
Um,
Any favorites? I kind of like One Range to Rule Them All.
That's good.
kinda
I like
do
that too.
Yeah.
All right, going with that.
So my statement on the Reagan Presidential Library is I've been there before for the funeral, and I'm familiar with the area. And there's this really great kitchen. So does it have to be on Reagan's Air Force One playing the contender game, or like,
You know,
get more points
really,
for cooler location?
in these backer achievements, it's really the enthusiasm that counts. I don't think that we're going to go really, really hard fact checking. So you know, we just kind of want everybody to get excited about the game and do something fun.
All right, Air Force One, here I come.
Okay, so Monsieur Neshcom,
Hello.
I have taken over the post, just so you know, to put that title in. And Michael, you're welcome to stick around. We just kind of leave the stream on while we do the show, but you don't have to. If you need to go, go. People do all the time. It's not a problem.
Part of it is I just never know how to hang up from Google Plus, so I may be here till you guys after you guys are gone. It's like, where is that?
All right, that's fair enough.
No, but hey, Tom, always a pleasure. I don't know if you guys know this, but Tom is like, you guys know this. Tom is the nicest guy in podcasting. You should get a T-shirt that says that. So
that's why
Tom doesn't like to be complimented either, but I just
No,
like to
I
do that. So.
I was going to try to deflect that.
He does? Okay.
He does.
Thanks, Roger. Oh, he eats it up. Oh, thank you, Michael. Though that's very nice to say.
All right, guys. Had a lot of fun, and hope to be back soon. See you guys.
All right, cheers.
Bye.
Adios.
Just
sad face? No sad face. Maybe your cheeks are too fat.
So Neshcom,
Yes, sir.
do you have any questions about what I do? Whoa.
Whoa. Roger,
Careful
you're
there,
not
Roger.
muted.
I don't know if Roger knows his mic's on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just turned it off.
Okay. Do you need me to walk you through what we do post show, or did that all make sense in the instructions, or?
No, this seems to make sense.
Okay. Because I put the title into the post just now.
Step by step too.
And then I use Levelator to do to level the show, which is what I was just doing.
Sure.
But you can do whatever you want.
Oh, no,
I'm
I
sure
love
you've got your
Levelator.
own process. Okay, good. And then I do that in Audacity, and pretty much I start recording when we start the show and stop it as soon as I'm done with the Diamond Club thing. So I don't do any actual snippeting. But if you need to do that, you do that, and then the MP3 goes to SoundCloud and archive.org.
Okay.
Did we give him the SoundCloud password?
Yeah, I was just about to say you might need to send me those credentials.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, can I ask you a quick question?
You can ask me all the questions.
Okay, one quick question.
Top athlete.
Oh, Jesus. Go.
What's going on? Next Thursday, you were talking to someone. Did you hear back from that someone?
Yes, he's in.
Great. Excellent.
Can we say who it is, or is it?
Sure. I just didn't want to say it unless it was happening.
That's why I'm asking.
It is somebody that I'm very excited to finally get a chance to talk to about technology. It's been a long time coming. He is a published author. Andrew Main will be on the show.
Never heard of him.
Well, you should. Gosh darn it.
I've never heard of him, but I don't trust that name.
Oh, jeez. When will
Go buy his book. It's a really good book.
both of them? Many of them.
Go buy all his books.
So now all I need is a person for Monday the 17th with Ms. Veronica Belmont, which has been oddly tough to lock down. So I guess we will find out.
Well, crap. Apparently,
Thank you.
the contender was featured in the Kickstarter letter today.
So Bryce,
wow.
Bryce.
Yes, sir. Yes, I got your text.
Got that? Okay. And then it's feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
Okay.
So Veronica, you need it in 2 weeks.
No, Veronica in 4 days. Ellie!
Ellie's volunteering.
Ellie can do it.
Ellie
Say
can
something,
do it.
Ellie. Okay, she's eating the microphone.
Yep, that's about right.
Well, they told her on that particular model you need to eat the microphone, and she
They're
took
gonna
it
get
a
that
little
model.
literally. That's all.
Yeah.
Roger, you're still. I'll hear from you one way or the other regarding that when I do. But I was looking for someone else. I'm still looking for someone else for the 17th. So we shall see. But other than that, it's all going smoothly.
We waged your butt yesterday.
All right, guys. I'm going to go take a shower.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
+1 for hygiene.
Yeah, thanks for making the effort too, and getting there in time for headlines. That was awesome.
Oh, man. I was yeah, a lot of things. I'll tell you all about it one day.
Dude, you're impressive. That's all I got to say.
Oh, stop. Stop.
was that?
All right. I love you guys. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
He took Uber pool, right? I was going to ask him about that.
I wonder how that went. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been curious about Uber pool.
I almost took it today, and then I was like, nobody else is going to Tom's house. I just didn't.
Well,
wanna
but
do-
that's fine. You still
know.
get the ride. It's just you get it alone.
That's true.
I don't think it works where you have to wait.
So does the same carpool etiquette apply? Like when you're a passenger, about
Good question.
Oh no.
like if I created like a Uber pool competitor where everything is like a party bus, you get like a fake plastic lei and a somewhat mildly alcoholic beverage in a fruity container.
Maybe.
That would make commuting to work and back fun.
I just feel like with Uber, it's already hard enough for me to have a new relationship with each driver, and I just don't want to have a new relationship with each driver and passenger. I guess
Yeah, but there's levels of relationship. You make it seem like you're trying to date everyone.
No, I'm just saying there's a social contract whether you're either silent or kind, but certainly not rude. And,
Neshcom, were you able to get into SoundCloud?
Yes, it was. And I'm
Okay.
getting into the Dropbox now.
Okay, cool.
and I
oh, I
just
don't have
don't
enough
want any
space.
more of those than I absolutely have to have.
You can
Are
just
you one
use
of
it
those-
through the web.
Are you one of those people that hates talking to other people on planes? Like when you're traveling?
Yeah, mostly, unless they're awesome.
I'm a chatter. I don't know why. I think it's
Really?
cabin fever. I've had the best conversations on planes. The last one I had was a great conversation with this Israeli tech support guy who got flown out of Tel Aviv to San Jose to work
Well,
on
that's a cooler person. Most of the people I sit next to just fall asleep, start snoring, and clearly haven't eaten any breakfast.
I just get really interesting people, maybe.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I'll sit next to my wife, and then I'll be just silent.
Silent, yeah. No, I was raised in New York City where you don't have to talk to the taxi driver, but every once in a while you'd get a cool taxi driver and you
Wait a minute, can you say that one more time? You were raised in New York City where you aren't supposed to talk to the taxi driver?
You don't have to talk to the taxi driver.
No.
It's not a social convention.
Patrick told me, Patrick Norton,
Yeah.
was very adamant, when you're in New York, because I guess he said he was a taxi driver for a short time. It's you just got to be, I'm used to talking to taxi drivers all the time. That's what you do in New York when you drive a cab. Talk,
Right.
talk.
Sure, I suppose so. Or you just hold on for dear life. I don't know. I'm 1976 New York, so it's different New York.
Patrick was New Jersey, and then he went to New York for clubbing or something.
Yeah.
Patrick
What am I hearing
Norton.
from wherever I'm hearing it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you hearing a fan noise?
No, I'm hearing.
Smacking noise?
Nope. I'm hearing dramatic musical noise from somewhere.
It's not us. I'm not hearing it.
Not me.
But I'm in the same house.
So,
Oh, no.
Neshcom, you have a way to do ID3 tags, right?
Yes.
Okay, so even if it's just through the web, you should be able to get the Dropbox.
It's not. The link is trying to get me to accept the shared folder, not just view it.
Let me see if there's a way to send it differently. All right, I changed the permission. See if that helps.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go investigate that strange music coming from just behind me.
Did Alexa turn on or something? Is my house possessed?
Yep, I triggered Alexa. I don't know what it was. Oh, I just did it again.
She was playing music?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
She just started playing music. I don't know why.
Playing song for you now.
I know.
Come, I am lonely. Come into the kitchen and talk to me.
I'm right next to the knives.
Open the kitchen door, Alexa.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Jenny.
Oh, Alexa just wanted to participate in the smart kitchen discussion.
I'm in the kitchen, and I'm smart.
Too.
I'm the smartest thing in this kitchen.
I'm still adding show note links, correct?
Yep.
They embed, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Okay, so we're going to take this party offline. But thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll talk to you soon.